Ho, 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 and welcome to Filmmakers Compass Podcast, a show where we talk about movies and, well, more movies. I'm D-Man, joined by CP, and CP, we're both rocking Santa hats today.
That is true, and I did it just for you, Drucker. I know how much you love those Christmas movies.
I'm almost positive, if Drucker recalls on my old podcast, Indecisive by Choice, Santa Claus himself used to make appearances, and he got pretty R-rated. But sorry, Drucker, there won't be any Santa appearances. But for 1 second, while I was wearing this Santa hat, I felt that Santa Claus energy. And so I had to bring it a little bit. But, man, maybe CP on the Christmas episode, I might even be able to grab some segments from that old podcast because it was wild.
I think we should do that. I think we should invite Santa back. You know, we had a lot of
that
fun
guy's
with him.
Nuts. I mean, he was literally like drunk.
He might be dead by now. I mean,
eggnog.
Honestly. Yeah. Rumnog. Double rumnog.
Crazy. CP, I know this is a little off topic from movies, but we are actually rounding into the final weeks of football season. I was going to ask you, how'd you do in fantasy football this year?
Okay. And I only say okay because honestly, I suck at fantasy for like the last 7 years. Ever since they consistently started doing the Thursday night game.
Yeah. It's hard to keep up.
Before the Thursday night game, for years, I would always, Friday morning would be when I would set my team.
No, now you got to do it. Well, you got to do it at least by Thursday morning, but you also, that gives you less time to go through waivers.
Yes.
You also have to set your lineup because some guys are injured. They might play, but then their replacement might play Thursday night. It gets pretty wild.
So my fantasy hopes and dreams have all been destroyed.
So here's two things that I just want to talk about, brag a little bit because, hey, I got a podcast. One, CP, I was in 3 paid leagues this year. I made the playoffs in 2, and I'm in the semifinal in both of them.
Nice.
Here is the catch. In each league in this semifinal, I am playing Mr. Matt Shula. So Shula, who is actually one of my childhood friends, and I'm in a few leagues with him, we literally are facing off in both leagues, and there's money on the line. So
wow.
I really want to kick his ass.
Okay.
But I think my team in both those games, I have a chance. I do not think it's guaranteed in either one, and I would be so disappointed if he beat me twice, but screw it.
All right, we're going to have to get an update on this one then, see if Matt Shula pulls it off or if D-Man pulls it off, and maybe we'll have to come. If he wins, he might have to come on the podcast and talk about how you failed.
Here's the other thing. This is the kicker that'll probably make you smile. In all the leagues in which I'm with him, Matt Hellison did not make the playoffs in any of the leagues I'm in with him for the first time ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing you say is Matt Hellison doesn't know anything about football.
I mean, if that's what you take away from what I said, then who am I to judge how you receive what I say?
Wow. Matt Hellison doesn't know anything about football. Surprising.
Yeah. So that's pretty nuts. Well, anyway, to our listeners, I know a lot of us do play fantasy football. I'm only asking because it's the end of the season. It's that exciting time of the year where you're either in or out. And I don't know if you guys play, you want to talk some shit or anything, we can. So, but before we jump into our topics this week, as always, CP, we have shout outs. So first up is Drucker, who said Jumanji might be the best non-Christmas Christmas movie of all time.
You know, it's actually funny. I was in another chat where someone brought that up today. Drucker, so you are in good company. I never think of that as a non-Christmas Christmas movie. Just totally was not on my radar. So thank you for reminding me of that.
It does end at a Christmas party.
It does.
Correct?
It does.
And it takes place around that time.
Yes.
I think they go to that store where the one guy's shooting, and I think you see Christmas decorations and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're playing Christmas music throughout, but it is a non-Christmas Christmas movie. So that totally works.
Another non-Christmas Christmas movie that someone alerted me to. Have you ever seen the romantic comedy While You Were Sleeping?
Oh, that one's older, right? When did that come out?
Like 93. Sandra Bullock. It takes place in Chicago, but
non-Christmas
Christmas movie.
Gotcha. All right. Nice pick, Drucker. I like that. Ivor jumped in and said, "You guys covered the Warner Bros. Buyout very well. Netflix will make movies to eventually be streamed. Money invested will go down, quality will go down, and so on." Very depressing, Ivor.
Yeah.
I was hoping that you might be able to get CP excited because he's been a little down.
No, dude, we're not gonna make movies anymore because yeah, that's just it. No more movies, guys. So we're
Yeah.
gonna start talking about fantasy football and how Matt Helson doesn't know football and what Drunker thinks about stuff, and that's pretty much gonna be the podcast.
Yeah, it does. I mean, Ivor continues and it gets a little bit more depressing. He's like, "Can we even have a wait and see attitude?" So I got nothing. Uh,
I got
so,
nothing.
Ivor, thank you. And then he goes on to say, though, I was thinking of doing an Alfred Hitchcock retrospective, which is pretty cool. I actually like the idea of that. Hitchcock is awesome. He has so many good movies. Um, from his start in Britain all the way to Family Plot, including all seasons of Alfred Hitchcock Presents. So, what director or actor would you want to do a retrospective on? That question being directed directly at CP.
Ooh, that I mean that's really tough. That's really really tough. Okay, I got like four or five. Obviously,
Okay.
Guy Ritchie because everyone here knows how obsessed I am with Guy Ritchie's filmography.
Mm-hmm.
And if we looked at his British gangster films from the beginning of his career towards the point he's at now, I think that'd be really interesting. Two, I would actually want to look at, and I think I brought this up to you before.
Mm-hmm. Who? Christopher Nolan?
No,
Denise?
horror
Oh,
director.
what's his name? Guillermo del Toro. No.
No,
Who?
Wes Craven. I
Oh,
want to do a
Wes Craven. Yeah.
comparison between Nightmare on Elm Street and then, or Scream, a Nightmare on Elm Street, A New Nightmare, and Scream. I think that would be really fascinating.
That's cool. I would be down for that. I'd watch Ivor's Alfred Hitchcock retrospective, and I would watch yours too, CP.
Yeah. So
So you said 4 or 5. That was like 2. I know for me personally, easy pick. I mean, if you had to guess who I was
Steven
gonna pick.
Spielberg,
Wrong, Mr. James Gunn.
go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I think James Gunn. He's done comic book movies, horror comedies, Christmas specials. He's been blacklisted. Then
Okay,
he
shut up.
returned.
So another one who I want to
James
do
Gunn, baby.
a retrospective on, who has done comic book movies, Mr. Dick Donner.
Oh, that would be amazing. He
Richard
actually,
Donner is so underrated as a director.
yeah, he
for
made some
the hits
amazing
he's
stuff.
had. Yeah.
Quite incredible. Yeah. Or even a cool one would be like Ridley Scott, because his career has had some real highs and sort of some lows.
You know what actually would be cool on a Ridley Scott one? Doing a retrospective where we look at Ridley Scott's theatrical releases versus his
Like
his
director's cut.
director's cuts. Because from my experience, he's the one director who, when he comes out with the director's cut, it's almost always superior to the theatrical one.
Interesting. That would be a cool retrospective there. Or analysis, even if we didn't do a full retrospective. We just did the comparison. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
All right, CP, I wanted to address this. I know it's made the headlines and it's everything that everybody's talking about. I don't want to dive into any speculative or anything, but in our shout outs, did want to say RIP to Rob and Michelle Reiner. Crazy story that hit Hollywood, during the holidays, but at least wanted to mention it because I know everybody's been talking about it, but that sucks.
Yeah.
So, but on another note, I want to say congrats to Mike and Cynthia, because I don't know if you saw, but they got a new dog.
I did not see it. How cool.
I know. Well, Mike, I know you listen to this podcast intermittently. I think in 2026, we're going to try to change that and get you to start listening weekly.
He needs to be a regular listener.
Yeah. But if you're listening today, congrats on your new dog, Reddington. It's a golden doodle and incredibly cute.
Wait,
puppies
what?
usually are.
Golden Doodle. That's like the opposite of kind of.
Yeah, he has Giant and Coco. He has he has dogs all over the place. So, and then finally, as always, CP, we have quite a few birthday shout outs this week. So I'm just going to do a rundown, but happy birthday to Michelle, Rudy, Luciana, Amelia, and Jayla. So happy birthday to all of you.
Happy birthday to all of you.
All right. Well, that does it for shout outs, CP. I'm going to send it over to you now for our box office breakdown.
All right, D-Man, Thank you very much. Box office breakdown. Now, things have not changed too much, but they are about to because
Yeah.
December 19th, Avatar 3 is back in theaters, and
Fire and
Disney's
Ash.
going to make a lot of money on that one. So let's get into the top five this past weekend. Now you
Okay.
see me, now you don't. Still holding the number five place.
That's a when you think about that CP, that movie is doing so well because they released it around this time at the holidays. There's honestly not that much competition. And I bet they're raking it. But really, this is a release schedule thing here. If they put this out in the middle of summer, I don't think it does nearly as well.
No, I think you're right. Like it's kind of like that. If you don't want to see something super family, you don't want to see something super holiday, kind of this was the choice.
Yeah.
And it's made, about $250 million. So not bad for Lionsgate because,
Dude,
it's
whoever did
Lionsgate.
the booking on this, the scheduling, I mean, congrats. It's not even like they ran a sick marketing campaign. They literally positioned this movie to be the option for those people that you just named. Crazy.
Right?
So smart.
Right. So this one's weird. I just because I've never heard of it. Number four, previously this was ranked as number nine, and
Huh.
that's Durdar,
Nope, never heard of it.
which is, I believe, a Bollywood film.
Nice. Well, it's nice to see them making some headway into mainstream American box office.
Yeah. I was a little shocked. It's made about close to $9 million worldwide, but it actually put up almost 6 million domestically last weekend. So that's
Impressive.
yeah.
Nice.
Number three, Wicked for Good.
Still up there. That's good. I mean, I know we talked last week about it maybe even slightly underperforming, but it seems like it's got legs through at least the holidays, so they're going to make money.
About $500 million for
Still
Universal.
pretty good.
Yeah, that's what they were thinking. Number two, number one previously, that's Five Nights at Freddy's 2,
Ooh, we got to
which
switch. We got to switch.
the box office on that is almost $200 million. Again, this seems really weird to me. I don't understand why this was not dropped in October.
Yeah, I do.
The first one did really well in the theaters. Um, and I have no idea why they did not just continue releasing it as an October, you know.
I mean, I get that, like, within a certain genre, they may be like, hey, listen, there's literally zero competition for us for this time of the year. And they're right. But also, like, you have to gauge people's energy. And it's like, are people that aren't fans of that going to be excited to go to the movies to see that during Christmas?
And
I don't
that's
know.
my thing. I'm like, are people specifically going to say, you know what, let's go watch this horror movie on our way home from the Christmas party? I don't know. I just think that that's the wrong read on buyer behavior.
Let me guess what number one is.
I don't know. What do you think? Throw it out there.
Zootopia 2.
Yes, sir. Which has made about $1.2 billion. Ding, ding,
Oh
ding, ding,
my
ding.
God,
Disney
dude.
is just raking it in on that one. So this is actually a cool story. A friend of mine went to a limited screening of this with cast members.
Oh, that's cool.
He's actually good friends with Patrick Warburton, who is in the film. And so Patrick invited him to the screening. He said it was awesome because the director and about five or six of the cast members and the casting director were there talking about the important role that the right voice actors had in making this movie a success.
Oh,
You
that's
know,
really cool. Yeah, that's awesome. And it
so
is a success. I mean, Disney
absolutely,
knew they literally, again, we're talking about scheduling, competition. They have put this movie in a perfect place to be uber successful. They knocked it out of the park. I mean, again, Zootopia 2, they could have released this at many different points throughout the year. And instead, they chose the family friendly holiday season run from like that first day, I think it was after Thanksgiving. So that holiday weekend, all the way through the new year. They know they're going to crush it. There's really not that much. Five Nights at Freddy's is the number two. That's their competition.
yeah,
Not even close.
yeah,
What are
not
people
even
going to go
close.
see?
That's the thing. I mean, well, now they're gonna go see Avatar: Fire and Ice, but
Fire and Ash.
whatever. You've already bought your ticket, D man. I know you
I
already have
know.
your seat reserved.
Well, do you think this Avatar movie will make $1 billion? I mean, I don't know if it'll make 2 billion, but I mean, do you think it'll make a billion? Because I was shocked that Way of Water made as much as it did, to be honest.
Yes, and this is my thing. I actually think there's okay, first of all, we have to remember most of the Avatar box office performance is international, right?
Yeah.
It
Okay.
does really well around the world.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. Two, unlike when Way of Water came out and there was a 10-year span between Avatar and Avatar 2,
Mm,
Way of Water came out 2 years ago. So I
yeah.
think consumers are much more like, I remember the story. Oh, yeah, I just went and saw it. I'm ready to go see the sequel. I just think it's probably a better
Okay.
move.
So $1 billion. Let's see. I mean, we'll keep an eye on it during box office breakdown. So thank you, CP. All right. Well, this week we actually are talking about a
Oh,
movie.
excuse me. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Look at this.
Oh my God. If you are listening only, CP is actually holding up a box of Little Nero's pizza. Tell us where you got that. Come on. I got to
Uh,
hear.
well, I went to the Home Alone pop up in Studio City, and it was freaking awesome, D man. I just, I figured you'd appreciate it.
So, my understanding is that they converted a Prince's Pizza into a Little
Prince
Nero's
Street
Pizza.
Pizza into a Little Nero's
Prince
Pizza.
Street Pizza. Okay. Well done. Shout out Prince Street Pizza. I don't know if that pizza is any good or if it's the same pizza that you got in Little Nero's, but hopefully it was
I
delicious.
imagine it's probably the same. So what's really cool is, first of all, they have the delivery car from the movie, right?
Nice. The one that
Yep.
hits the statue.
Yeah. Parked out front. You go inside and it is decked out in this awesome Home Alone theme, everything. First of all, whatever you got, whether it was a single slice or a whole pizza, it came in a Little Nero's box.
That's awesome. So you get to take something with you from the experience.
Yes. All the pizzas were renamed in to be themed around Home Alone.
Okay.
They had Little Nero's decor, but they also had 90s decor. They straight up had a television with a built-in VHS player
Oh, you
playing
love that. Yeah.
with like, the track marks on the screen, a Little Nero's commercial on TV.
That's
So that was
awesome.
really cool. It was super nostalgic. They had a movie poster for
Very
Angels
cool.
with Filthy Souls.
Not Home Alone, the movie within
Yeah,
the
yeah,
movie.
yeah. They had this big bulletin board that had like polka lessons from Gus Polanski.
That is so cool.
And they had a Chicago Tribune article about the South Bend Shovel Slayer.
That's amazing.
So
I
it
mean,
was like fun stuff like that I'm like, dude, I love Home Alone, so this is really cool. The one thing that did bother me was they had a missing person sign for Kevin McAllister, but that would actually be from Home Alone 2, not
eh,
from Home Alone 1.
I kind of get it. I mean, I know obviously the authorities did not know where Kevin was, assuming that he was left at home and they went and knocked on his door. But I also didn't get the impression that there was enough time between like when that policeman is like, tell her to check on her kids again.
Oh, they're counter kids again.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you're like, between that and when they actually get home on that Friday for Christmas, you're like, I don't know if there was enough time in the 90s to really run like a missing kids.
Yeah. Anyway, the point is,
Maybe.
D-Man, you would have loved it because you love Home Alone, and
Oh,
that's
I love
exactly
Home
what it
Alone.
was. It was awesome.
Well,
Yeah, it
here's
was
the
a good
thing.
time.
Was it packed? Because I feel like that can make or break an experience. Like, you know how people say in New York City, like if you go to all the famous Rockefeller Center and all this, like if you go, it's not like the movies. It's like super packed and
Yeah.
can be a little disappointing because like everybody, it's like, there's literally a crowd of people all with their phones out trying to get a photo or a video of like the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree. And you're like, it's not quite like I imagined.
So I had heard that this Home Alone pop-up had lines outside, like around the block. Now, I went one day after shooting, and
Okay.
so I rolled in at 12:05.
And they're open 24/7?
No, it was open till like 2 a.m.
That's pretty
So when
good though
I
for a
rolled
pizza
in,
place.
there
Damn,
was like six people ahead of me, so it
not
really
bad.
wasn't that bad.
Okay,
But
because I
the
mean,
thing
I don't
that
know.
did bother me was I went up, I ordered my pizza, and I paid my cash, and then I said, "Keep the change, you filthy animal." And the register just looked at me like, the cashier, like,
Uh,
just did not register what I was saying. And I was very disappointed.
well, I mean, that's a great line if you're paying with cash. So well done. Keep the change, you filthy animal.
So,
Well,
anyway,
CP, since we're talking Home Alone and now apparently New York City, our movie this week is actually none other than Home Alone 2, Lost in New York.
Lost in New York.
So I'm really excited to talk about this because we go back a couple years, we have an episode where we talked about Home Alone, and if any of our listeners remember, we have a ton of love for that movie. Maybe, I mean, I think to this day is still my favorite Christmas movie. Love to watch it, and I'm excited to watch it. Hopefully, again before the holiday is over.
Awesome. No, dude. Yeah, agree.
I want to jump right into it, CP. I got to throw this at you because I have heard a lot of conflicting opinions, both in the comments section, online, and even amongst my own friends. But I got to hear it from you direct. Is Home Alone 2 better than Home Alone 1?
Absolutely not. It is not better. I know that there are some people who like it more. They like the New York aesthetic. They think that the booby traps are more over the top and funnier. But as an actual movie and story, Home Alone 1 takes the cake, hands down.
I think I'm going to agree with you here. I love the original. It's the classic. It's where many of the iconic things actually come from. They're sort of remixed in Home Alone 2. Same thing. Like, in Home Alone, they're the wet bandits. And in Home Alone 2, they're the sticky bandits. There's Old Man Marley, the South Bend Shovel Slayer, and then there's the Pigeon Lady. So you're like, yes, iconic in its own right. I mean, the sticky bandits are funny too, but you're also like, it doesn't have that same freshness that they brought when they did the original.
Yep.
So I don't know. That was something that definitely stood out. I do, however, love the setting in New York City.
Oh, we know that, dude, man. You love New York.
Well, New York at Christmas has always been a dream of mine. I would love to go. Shout out to Tom and Tori. Hopefully, we can actually get that scheduled because I would love to go with them. Tori actually spent time in New York and lived there, so she'd be able to take me to all the cool places that the tourists don't even know about.
Cool.
But New York at Christmas time is literally iconic. The lighting of the tree at Rockefeller Center is literally like a national Christmas moment. They televise it everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
They have the famous ice rink, of which the Sticky Bandits are at. And CP, can I say one of the biggest laughs that they get from me in Home Alone 2 is when Harry's standing at the ice rink and Marv's skating, and he's reading a newspaper, and all of a sudden these pigeons are like right next to him, and he's just like, get out of here. Get out of here. And he starts like hitting the pigeons, and they don't go anywhere. And you're like, that is so New York. Like the pigeons literally just scoot over like, 2 inches.
Foot, yeah.
Yeah. Like you're like, nope, you can't make those pigeons do shit. But there's just something about even they recognize like one of the new elements to Home Alone 2 that they don't really have in Home Alone 1, is this exploration montage. I think they have a montage, but it's Kevin doing stuff when he's home alone in the first movie. But in this one, he explores New York. He goes to Chinatown and gets his fireworks. There's that famous shot on top of like the World Trade Center, which is, now insane. Probably one of the best scenes in the movies featuring those buildings.
Yeah.
How cold do you think it'd be up there at that time?
Oh, freezing, dude. Probably freezing.
Yeah. But he goes past that diner and there's a Santa on stilts, and, they have the Rockefeller Christmas tree. They do all these things. So I think, to me, even though Chicago's probably my favorite city, we're mostly exploring the suburbs, but really just Kevin's neighborhood.
So you mean if Home Alone 1, you would have rather seen a sequence where he goes and walks the Mag Mile, and he goes to the top of the formerly Sears Tower and all that stuff.
It would have been cool to see a little bit more of Chicago, I guess. It's not the vibe they're going for, right? I get that it's insular that way because he's a kid and he can't go anywhere. So it's meant to feel like this is probably the furthest away from his house he's ever ventured alone, right? To go buy a toothbrush or, what is it? He picks up the groceries and the grocery lady's like, "Where's your parents?" He's like, "I can't tell you that."
Yeah.
Why not?
You're a stranger.
Because you're a stranger. Like you get the impression that like this is the furthest he's ever gone. And then, they just totally throw that, into the wood chipper with Lost in New York, where he's literally, in a totally different location.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But do you like the twist on that where, I mean, it's not really Home Alone anymore. He's alone. But
yeah, I think it works, and this is why. I think that if we saw another movie of Kevin McAllister in his own house, it it would we've already seen that, right? The story of Home Alone is he thinks he wishes his family away and he has to survive on his own,
yeah,
right? And at the end, we found this Kevin McAllister who, actually does love his family, right? As old
right.
man Marley says, you don't always like him, but you love him, but you sometimes you forget that you love him, right?
Yeah,
He misses his family, he loves his family, but more importantly, he has this newfound confidence, right? He's no
for
longer
sure.
little, he's a grown up. And
Yeah.
so if we saw him trapped in his house again, there's no growth for Kevin. This is the beginning of the movie, right? He loves his family, but he's like, you know what? I could really use a freaking vacation from him.
Yeah.
Right. So the idea of, okay, he's just going on his own in a different place that he doesn't know is in line with the growth that he had in the first one, but pushing in a new direction. We also see a more confident Kevin who is willing to do the things like talk his way into a hotel room.
Yeah. How do you feel about like the Talk Man? Because that was pretty iconic from the second movie, which, they don't really have an equivalent, I guess, in the first movie. And I don't know. I kind of actually remember as a kid really wanting one.
I remember really wanting one just because of the movie. Like, yeah, I think it's a cool idea. And I think if we're correct, Tiger created it because of the film as
Oh,
opposed to
really?
it being made before Home Alone 2. Yeah.
That's interesting. Because I like it's weird. At the beginning, I don't see the novelty of it. Like, I think Kevin's mom at the very beginning of the movie like asks him, like, "Are you packed yet?" And he's like, "Yes." And then he like rewinds it and it's like, "Yes." And I
Yeah.
was like, I don't know. That seems repetitive.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But then they really get into it where like he records his uncle with the Talkman and then he plays that back. And when
He
the
plays it slowly to be his
yeah, when the
dad's
concierge
voice.
comes and like sneaks into the room to see what's going on, like why is
Mhm.
this all funny business? Or even like you said, like when he makes the call, which have you ever seen people on social media? They bust out Talkmans and then they literally repeat those lines and call the Plaza Hotel.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah, but they don't really lean into it. They're like, "Sir, I don't have time for this," and hang up. Or
Oh, really?
yeah, they should have. I mean,
This is Kevin McAllister,
right?
the father. That's
This is
awesome.
Peter McAllister, the father. I'd
Also,
like
and
an
and it does
extra large bed.
and then he
Yeah.
uses it at the end to record Marv and Harry saying they're going to kill him.
Yeah, so it is actually, a really big part of the story. That's how he provides the recording, attached to the brick
Yep.
to the police and
Yep.
to Mr. Duncan so that they know exactly why his window was broken and everything. But I don't know. I mean, I think, you know, Home Alone 2, despite sort of being that remix of the first one, I do think it stands on its own. So while I think the first one is probably my favorite, I really don't think you need to have seen the first one to enjoy the second one. You
I
know,
I think you're right. Yeah.
because you think about like Angels with Filthy Souls. Like in the second one, it's angels with filthier souls.
Hmm.
So like it just kind of works.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, she wasn't. She was smooching with your sister. But okay, really quick, one of the things that I wanted to take a look at before we dive deeper into the movie is quotes from reviews at the time when Home
Okay.
Alone 2 came out. We don't normally do this, but it's interesting because it wasn't really received all that well when it first came out. People thought it was sort of a carbon copy. So, for reference, Rotten Tomatoes, the critics have it as rotten at 35%. And the audience does have it. I believe it's still fresh at 62, but I'd have to check if going, I think it's below either 65 or 60. You start to get into rotten territory.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So it's at 62% for an audience score, which is really low considering its, uh, place in the lineup of classic Christmas movies.
Yeah.
So, but here's what critics were saying. A change of venue and more sentimentality and violence can't obscure the fact that Home Alone 2 is a less inspired facsimile of its predecessor. So, Roger Ebert, RIP,
R.I.P. Yeah.
jumps in here and he said, cartoon violence is only funny in cartoons. When flesh and blood figures hit the pavement, we can almost hear the bones crunch, and it isn't funny. So, on that note, I wanted to ask you about the prank sequences at the end. And what's sort of your impression then of how in this one, like in the first movie, he defends his house, but the pranks feel like something a kid would probably come up with. But generally speaking, like there's almost no real opportunity where like the wet bandits are going to die. I think maybe the closest is where Harry's his head gets set on fire.
Yeah.
But really like they're slipping on ice or he
Paint
steps on a
cans.
nail,
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
iron, he steps on ornaments,
Yeah. Yeah.
they trip, but I think the famous Home Alone where he sets up the micro machines and they're like, whoa,
Yeah. Yeah.
in this one, like literally right out of the gate when they arrive at that scene at the end, I think Kevin's throwing bricks from like a 4-story building or like a 3-story building down at Harry and Marv.
Yeah.
And they keep hitting Marv in the face. But I'm like, I really don't think a person could take like 4 bricks to the face.
Yeah. Right. No. I mean, they're way more over the top. I mean, when you think about it, they fall down 3 stories multiple times through the hole in the floor.
Yeah, right. But the reaction to it is like, I don't know, Marv like cracks his neck or his back, and he's like, wow, what a hole.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they play it off so comedically that it's almost like we're watching live action Looney Tunes.
Or the part where he gets electrocuted and we see the skeleton like we would in every single cartoon ever.
Yeah, right. So
Yeah.
like I kind of don't agree with Roger Ebert here because I think they do enough to me, like, the tool chest that comes down the stairs and then it hits them through the door and they like
Crack
straighten
their
out
noses
their
back
noses.
into place. Yeah.
There's something about what they're doing in the second one that clearly the movie itself is acknowledging. I mean, yes, these guys would probably die. I think at one point Harry like goes upside down into a toilet filled with gasoline and his head's on fire.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, you would probably die. But like the movie is going out of its way to make sure that we know this is all supposed to be a joke.
Yeah. Um, I mean, I agree with you. I think it's funny, and the more I watch it, the funnier it gets. But I understand people's hesitation watching it, being like, this is like, the same people that watch things and they're like, oh, this is too violent, right? This is too violent for a kids movie, throwing bricks at people's heads.
Well, and here's the other thing too. Do you think that it would get this same criticism if it released today? Like, is this a criticism of like early 90s, when parents were fighting against video game violence and, NWA was getting, adult labels on CDs. Like there was this overall sense at that time that like content was going too far. I mean, was Home Alone part of that? But today, like, you log on to social media and people curse all the time. Like cursing.
I don't know. This is also, this movie came out 5 years after RoboCop, and RoboCop is like the most violent movie ever.
Absolutely rated R, though. I know RoboCop is insane. The original. Do you have a favorite prank that they did in Home Alone 2? Because there's some good ones. I like. I think a funny one is the nail gun at the very beginning.
Yeah, that's funny.
I think one of the funniest ones is just Marv walking in and not seeing that there's just a giant hole.
Yeah.
And he just like walks right into it. You're like, yeah, that's how stupid this is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the hole. That's really funny to me.
I like the one where Harry jumps on that ladder and then like that goo just like lands on his forehead afterwards.
Oh yeah, it's like that green.
I also like the one at the very end where they're climbing down the oh, I could just recount the whole. I like the part where he chucks the brick at Kevin and just like totally misses him.
Yeah.
He's like 10 feet off. But then they go down that rope, right? And he's like, "Oh, Harry, why are you wearing aftershave?"
Yeah.
You're just like, "Oh, Marv, you're so stupid. We know where this is going and you have no clue."
And they're silly throughout. Obviously, this isn't part of the pranks, but I do love at the beginning when we first get reintroduced to them, you know, he's like, "You smell that, Marv?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's fish."
Fish.
And he's like, "No, it's freedom." And then he's like, "No, it's fish." And like, I don't know why this scene always cracks me up too. They're in Duncan's toy chest, the toy store, and
And
they're
they
like
just like
hiding.
freeze.
No, but they're like hiding in like one of those little like kids houses.
Yeah.
I don't know why this always makes me laugh, but they're like slinking up and looking out of the window, and then like a woman in a skirt walks by, and they both pause and like follow her. And I love when they put things like that in movies.
Yeah.
Like I think they have a scene like that in Die Hard where the security guy goes to like get a Snickers bar. I don't know why. I love when they do things like that. Like it doesn't, you never need to do that. If you didn't put it in there, it probably wouldn't affect anything. And yet it's funny.
Yeah.
Like the pigeons. Like you don't have to do that, but I think it's hilarious. So let's keep going with some of the reviews. So Kenneth Turin of the Los Angeles Times said, "Whatever was unforced and funny in the first film has become exaggerated. The result plays like an over elaborate parody of the first film." Again, kind of a negative review.
Yeah.
Of the Chicago Tribune, Dave Kerr says, "A coarsened, self-parodying version of the original, the slapstick violence, even more graphic and sadistic." Janet Maslin says, "It may be lazily conceived, but it's staged with a sense of occasion and a lot of holiday cheer. Culkin is irresistible, even if he's given little new to do." I kind of agree with that review.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
It's really festive. If you like Christmas and you want to watch a great movie for the holiday, I'm with it. I think Macaulay Culkin still kills it. And did you know they turned around production on this so fast? They did this with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and then to Secret of the Ooze. And they did this with Home Alone and Home Alone 2 Lost in New York, where the success of the first movie propelled them to literally like bring the entire cast and crew back together to make another one before, like in the first case, Turtlemania ends. And in this case, before the kids grow up. Because you can only, sort of do this illusion so many times before A, it gets old, and B, the kids are too old.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and then finally, Time Magazine, Richard Schickel, I think that's his name, precisely follows the formula that made its predecessor the biggest grossing comedy in human history, presented with energy and conviction. So, a couple positive reviews.
I mean, I agree with that. I think what John Hughes and Christopher Columbus do really well here is this does not feel like a carbon copy of one. Like with something like, say, like The Hangover, right?
Yeah.
Where you're just like, this is literally the same motions. They mix it up enough that they're like, this is a new story. This is a new situation. Kevin's dealing with greater themes and understandings here as a character. But as an audience, you're taking us through the familiar moments that we love in the first one, right? Angels with Filthier Souls. There's a sequence where we're watching It's a Wonderful Life in Spanish instead of in French, right? Like, there are nods to the original and the moments that we loved, just slightly different.
I also love when they get to the motel. Is it a motel or a hotel in Florida? And it's raining.
That's a motel.
And Uncle Frank's like, "It was nicer on our honeymoon." You're like, yeah, this cheapskate, probably. But then again, I don't know. When you're young and probably poor, you can have fun in even the worst of you find the fun, right? So once you have money, you're kind of like, oh wow, we don't need to do this. But when you're young, you're like, that's cool.
Yeah, right.
You look back on it fondly. Right. So I also have some of the audience reviews. So you're going to see a slight difference here. I'm not going to read off who it was because we don't know who they are, but I'm just going to go through a couple lines. Audience reviews: just as good, if not better than the first. A great follow-up to the first. Only downside is the Trump cameo, which is crazy because I believe that cameo, I think there's actually an interview with Chris Columbus where
Mhm.
he basically says they did a test screening of Home Alone 2, and that got the largest audience reaction of the entire movie.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
which
this
is
is early
nuts.
90s. Everybody loved Trump back then,
Yeah,
right?
and there's an acknowledgement. I believe he's in the movie because they ended up filming a big chunk of the movie at the Plaza Hotel. He was the owner of the Plaza
Yep.
Hotel, which is obviously, it's alluded to in this movie, but it's one of the most famous hotels in New York and therefore probably even the world, or at least associated
Hmm.
with America.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so he gets that cameo and people loved it. I mean, generally speaking, I think no one really had a problem associating Home Alone 2 with Trump until his, move
Presidential
into move into
aspirations.
politics.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but up till then, I mean, I think it was sort of a beloved cameo. So
Yeah.
say what you will about that. Fun fact, I don't know if you know this, but the Plaza Hotel actually had a carpeted lobby.
Did not
And
know this.
what was interesting was they have a scene where Kevin's supposed to jump on his stomach and sort of slide between the legs of one of the concierge. And he does do this, but in order to make it realistic, they took the carpet out, and then underneath
What?
they found tile that they ended up just leaving because they thought it was better anyway.
Wow.
So
Okay.
yeah,
So
the
the
movie
plaza got a makeover thanks to the Home Alone production.
exactly. So which is pretty cool. We'll continue. Honestly, a very good movie, but the first one is just slightly better. So I feel like that's where you
Yeah.
and I are at.
Yeah. Yep.
I love the kind people in the film. More funny characters, fun to watch. My favorite Christmas movie. Violence is increased, but I still love it. Compared to most sequels, Home Alone 2 is a great story to follow up the first. So there, I got the impression that critics, obviously being much more critical, were like, hey, there's not a lot of originality. They're remixing. They up the violence and some of the stuff, but really, like, it's jarring. Where I think fans, the people that watched it, really enjoyed it.
Hmm.
So, as did I. I always love too at the beginning, they actually have that Christmas pageant.
Pageant. Yeah.
You know, you have Buzz sort of playing the candles on top of Kevin's head. But I like that song. Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree, where are you now? Christmas tree. Yeah, I don't know. I like that song. I think that was actually written by John Williams, who did the score of both these.
Oh, really?
Yeah, John Williams is so iconic. I was going to ask you, do you like the Wet Bandits more or the Sticky Bandits?
Um, I think the Sticky Bandits are funnier, but I think the Wet Bandits are more menacing.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of get that too. I think I actually agree with you on both accounts. Now, this is where we may diverge. Do you like Old Man Marley, the South Bend Shovel Slayer, or the Pigeon Lady?
Oh, I like Old Man Marley way better.
I like the resolution of the Old Man Marley story, but I actually really enjoy the Pigeon Lady. I feel like it's one of those things where I could totally see where there's some people that if you were to give them a chance, and get to know, not everybody, but there's probably some really nice people out there that are just misunderstood. I like the theme of that versus obviously that's true also of Old Man Marley, but he's much more scarier and intimidating. Where the Pigeon Lady's just weird.
I mean, yeah, I think the thing with Old Man Marley, what I like about that story is Kevin does not know him in any way, right? Kevin's heard rumors and sees this scary old kind of gruff guy. And then when
Yeah.
Kevin actually talks to him, he's like, "Oh, okay." Um, and not only, and what I think is interesting about the Kevin Old Man Marley thing is in the film, Kevin gives advice that encourages the character of Old Man Marley to change his life. And that happens, right?
Right.
He
Yeah.
reconciles with his son. But Old Man Marley gives Kevin advice that helps Kevin grow as well. And I feel like,
He only gives the Pigeon Lady advice. She doesn't give it.
I mean, she tells him the thing about like, ooh, good deeds count for extra. And that's kind of, I think, what is supposed to be the thing that propels him into fighting the wet band or the sticky bandits. But it doesn't feel as powerful and meaningful as the growth that both of them experience in the first one.
Yeah, I do like though that the Pigeon Lady basically her advice inspires him to take action. Where in the first one he's more just defending, right? I think he even has that famous line where he's like,
This is
I
my
have to
home. I
defend it.
have to defend it. Yep.
Yeah, where in this one he has, I guess, a little bit more agency. He didn't have to go back to Duncan's toy chest
Yeah.
and record those guys and throw brick through the window. He could have just let it all go and been like, I don't need to do any of that. So I do think he has a little bit more agency, and I like her for that. I also like his line to her, which I think is often misunderstood, and that is people forget. And I think he says to her, I don't think people mean to forget. And sometimes that's a good reminder to all of us to not necessarily take when that happens to you and somebody forgets, whether it's to call you on your birthday or, they were supposed to meet up and they forgot or something. Sometimes that happens and it's not as intentional as it feels.
No, and I love Kevin's advice about the roller skates.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's like, if you're not going to use it, then why does it matter? You know.
Yeah. But I like
And
that because it's just a good reminder. Sometimes I feel like,
yep.
yeah, like sometimes people forget and you get really hurt. But I think that's really true. I don't think most people mean to forget, or, it's some larger indication of like they just don't care about you at all. I think sometimes we all slip up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, for sure, dude.
Uh, so I don't know. I like both of them. Obviously, I love the nod to South Bend,
Yes.
which that was cool in the first one. I mean, a little taste of home,
Yep.
but um, I guess if we had to end the discussion, I mean, what would be your favorite scene in Home Alone 2? Because my favorite scene is probably the one where he plays back Angels with Filthier Souls to the concierge when they're up there trying to capture him.
That's funny. I really like that one
I like
too.
when he's like, Boney Bob, Cliff, and
Cliff,
then they all
it's
look
not
at Cliff.
true. It's a lie.
I don't know why it makes me laugh so hard, but when what's the main concierge name? The actor.
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry. I love when he's crawling on the ground, but it looks
Dude,
like
it's hilarious.
his legs like don't move, and he's
Yeah.
like, "There's a man with a gun. Go back to your rooms."
Oh,
Which
yeah, that's
it is ironic given some of the current climate with like shootings and stuff. Like it's played for laughs here, and we haven't really hit like Columbine or anything yet, where that was much more commonplace. But I just think it works so well because like I don't know, it's played for comedy and it really is hilarious. So that's probably my favorite.
I mean, there's a lot of great sequences with Kevin in the Plaza Hotel, right?
Yeah.
Like when he, just his interactions. Like honestly, if they had just made a whole movie that's called Kevin Goes to the Plaza, I probably would have loved it.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
cool too.
um, a lot of those are great. I trying to think of what other sequences I really, really love.
I like the montage sequence across New York. That to me is really fun. Again, that's like the holiday cheer. I love
Yeah,
that. The first one is focusing on what he would do if he was home alone,
yeah,
not necessarily Christmas stuff. Where this one, it's like a lot more Christmassy.
yeah,
I like that. I love the montage when he goes to Duncan's toy chest. Is a great
yeah.
sequence. They play the Grinch at the TV in the limo. He gets his cheese pizza, and then I love how Tim Curry's smile lines up with the
With
Grinch's
the
smile.
Grinches. Yep, yep,
That's a nice touch.
yeah. Oh man.
I will say though, I I find the plot devices, even though contrived in the first one about like there being a power outage and the phone lines are down, more believable for this movie at that time. I think in this one, you know, his dad unplugs the clock by
Yeah,
accident.
yeah. I was like, seriously, bro. Come on. What kind of newbie are you?
Well, and then
Peter, you got
even
to be
the
better than
airport
this.
sequence, like when Kevin's like looking for batteries, like that's a totally a little kid thing, and I could see that happening. But I find it hard to believe that like after they left him at home the last time, that like somebody wouldn't literally have a leash on him.
No, well, that was my thing. I'm like, okay, this is your youngest kid, the one that you forgot before. You're just gonna run to the airport and assume that he's behind you. You're not gonna be like dragging him the whole way.
Yeah, even the bit where they're picking up their bags in Florida and they're like, hand this to Kevin, and then it goes down the entire chain of the family, and then the bag comes back and they're like, Kevin's not here. And what? You know, It just seems a little bit like much more, I guess, implausible. Some of the elements, it's much more fantastical. The idea that they really would give a hotel room to a kid,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
some of that where it's like probably not, but I'll suspend belief for the fun of the film.
Yeah.
Where the first one does feel somewhat believable. Like holiday travel, it is hard to get a flight, especially back then because they didn't have digital algorithms that could probably figure that out really
Mm-hmm.
quick. You're like, no, I mean, the
Mm-hmm.
flight right here is full. So what do you want me to do?
Mm-hmm.
Or even the phone lines being down. Back then, I'm like, that seems believable. And that one element makes him being home alone totally work because
Yep.
if you're to update these stories for today, I mean, with cell phones and technology, you're like, they don't work.
Yeah. No, you're totally right.
I mean, you could find new ways to do it, but again, it might feel contrived.
I thought that's how the Home Sweet Home Alone felt, right? When they're like, instead he gets the Alexa device set to German or something. You're like, yeah, that just seems really weak.
Yeah, like I
You know?
guess, but yeah. Well, before we move on from Home Alone 2, I did want to do a little bit of like behind the scenes trivia.
All
So
right.
I don't know if you know this, but Macaulay Culkin's payday was massive. He earned $4.5 million dollars plus a percentage of gross from this movie.
He
So
absolutely should have. He's the heart and soul of that movie.
he is, and also he did not get a deal like that on the first one. So
Yeah.
this is also sort of pay for the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
He's being rewarded. So um, it says Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern stayed sharp on set, meaning that Pesci was actually really cold to Macaulay Culkin, you know, telling him to shut up and sort of acting like Harry.
I know. I remember reading something where he said he was very intentional about, especially in the first one, he wanted Kevin to be afraid of him.
Yeah. So that was interesting. And then in this one, Marv, Daniel Stern, actually filming the scene at the end where he gets pigeons all over him,
Mm-hmm.
a pigeon actually flew into his mouth, which is pretty
Yes.
gross because pigeons
That's
are not
that's
clean.
disgusting.
I mean, I know they're stage pigeons.
Studio pigeons.
Yeah, but still, I don't know if I like that.
That's gross.
Um, the Plaza Hotel scenes, as we mentioned in the lobby, they were filmed at the Plaza Hotel, which is pretty cool.
Okay.
And the Duncan's toy chest exterior shots were done in some Chicago buildings, but everything was inspired by FAO Schwartz, which was downtown in NYC.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Home Alone 2 is reportedly the only film in the franchise to feature entirely real snow. A real blizzard hit New York and
No
caused
way.
cameras to freeze during shooting.
Oh, that's cool because I remember, you know, that was one of the major challenges they had with Home Alone 1. It did not snow until the final day of production.
Yeah. And then let's see. A deleted scene showed Kevin repeating the iconic aftershave gag, which is probably the most iconic image from the first one where he's like, ah.
Yeah,
But they cut it because they felt like with all the other callbacks to the first movie that would make it feel too much
I could see that.
like the
I could
original.
see that.
So
Yeah,
they left that as the iconic thing from the original.
I like that because you don't really need it. He already learned his lesson once, you know.
Exactly. So, all right, that's just a little bit of trivia. Figured that would be fun. And now, CP, I wanted to play a quick game with you, a little bit fun for the Christmas movies, which is I'm going to read some movie quotes and you just have to tell me what movie it's from.
Okay.
All right. So this one I think you'll know, but you be positive, I'll be realistic.
That would be from Home Alone.
It is from Home Alone 1.
That's with
Uh
Peter and Uncle Frank.
yep, leaving when they walk out the door. This one I think you'll get, but I don't know if you watch this movie every year. Maybe I'll say it like the guy. Why, to the North Pole, of course.
I have no idea.
That is from the Polar Express.
I have not seen. The only time I saw the Polar Express is when it came out.
Okay, yeah. Um, let's see. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came.
Well, that would be from the Grinch. Now, which Grinch movie? I don't know. We're gonna say the original.
It is from the TV special, the cartoon.
Cool.
This one I know you'll know. Neil's head comes to a point.
Oh, that must be Four Christmases. No, the Santa Claus.
Yeah, it is the Santa Claus. Do you know this one? Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
I don't think I've ever seen that. That's your mom's favorite Christmas movie. Die Hard.
Okay, now we have one, which I think you'll get this, but you can mess with a lot of things, but you can't mess with kids on Christmas.
That's from this movie.
Yeah, Home Alone 2.
Or Home Alone 2, Lost in New York.
All right, I was gonna read the quote by Chevy Chase in Christmas Vacation, where he's talking about his boss. But you'll know that one.
Christmas Vacation.
Yeah. I had a lot of help from Jack Daniels.
That is also from Christmas Vacation.
Correct.
It's when he's talking with his dad.
Yep. And then Not a Finger.
Not a Finger. Steph's favorite Christmas movie, A Christmas Story.
Correct. All right. Well, before we move on, CP, that was just a little bit of fun. Real quick, just wanted to see what your perfect Christmas movie night would be like. So pick a Christmas movie, a snack, a drink, and maybe one non-movie tradition or something. What are you thinking?
Oh boy. Well, probably, I mean, I gotta say, I think for me, I think I've told you this. The last Christmas movie I pretty much always watch is A Christmas Story. Or
Okay.
I'm sorry, not A Christmas Story, is the Santa Claus.
Yeah, that's
So
usually
for
what I
me,
watch on Christmas Eve.
Putting on the Santa Claus, probably having a nice big cup of coffee.
Okay.
And snack wise, probably just popcorn. Because if I actually have popcorn at home, then I know I'm having a movie experience.
All right. Well, I think for me, Christmas movie is actually going to be Home Alone.
Okay.
Snack is going to be a candy cane, which I have many.
Okay.
My drink is going to be rum nog, little eggnog with rum. That's a Sean and Dustin classic. And my one non-movie tradition, I'm probably going to pick out one of my Star Wars Christmas shirts to watch the movie in. I have a lot of them. My dad gets me one every year. Dope. And I have a lot of fun getting to go through the entire stack of them and find the good one that I want to wear. It's just festive for me.
All right, I dig it. I think that's cool.
All right, well, CP, that does it for our episode this week. So I wanted to say to all our listeners, Merry Christmas. I hope you guys all have a happy holiday, but we'll be back. So this isn't the end, but
we will be back.
Thank you for listening. Be sure to continue the conversations both on social media or message us directly. We always love hearing from you guys. You can follow the show at filmmakerscompass.com, where we have a feed of all previous episodes, as well as links to our social media, which you can follow at FilmComp Podcast or at FilmComp Pod. You can follow me at Big Kid D-Man and CP.
You can follow me at NDCal5. Thank you for hanging out and talking movies with us. We will see you back here next week. And until then, keep watching Christmas movies.